Today we're going to be going behind the scenes of the Affiliate School YouTube channel as I show you how I record and edit my videos. Now I'm going to try and keep things fairly simple and just show you the things that have really made the biggest difference to me in creating quality videos over the last 12 to 18 months or so. Now don't worry, that editing software that you see there behind me, it might look really complex, but it's actually pretty simple to use, and the best thing is it's free. So let's dive in. Not quite sure why I'm whispering because I'm the only person here. Okay, so we touched on some of this stuff in the first video, but we're going to go through it again and go into a little bit more detail in terms of the things that you're going to need. So the first thing you're going to need is a recording device. Now, ideally, this needs to record in 1080p HD. I personally don't record in 4K. If you really wanted to, you could, but that's going to make things take a little bit longer, the processing time of videos and all that stuff. So personally, I would stick to 1080p. A phone is absolutely fine, and actually the opening section of this video was recorded on my iPhone 14. For my recording, I use a Canon MK50 Mark II with a Sigma 16mm lens. That gives it that nice kind of blurry effect. So if you look, that's focusing now there, you can see it blurs out the background, and that's exactly what it does here. It will focus on me and it gives a nice little blur into the background there. It's not required, it's just something that I wanted to invest in and use, but like I say, you don't have to do that. Probably the biggest thing that's going to make a huge difference to you is the microphone. Now, the audio is 50% of the video experience, so it's really important that you don't just rely on the microphone that is built into either your digital camera or your phone, unless it's exceptional. Now, I've never come across one that is exceptional. Now, this is probably the only thing that I would say you should definitely invest in. Now, for me personally, I use the DJI wireless mics. They're quite expensive though. They're really brilliant to use, but they're quite expensive. And actually, when I started the channel, I used to use the Boya BY-M1. It's a wired microphone. The cable is insanely long, so you can move around, no issues, and it's about $15. And the sound quality, it will just take your videos from here to up here. Now, for video editing, if you've already got a video editor that you use, then by all means use that. But for me, I wanted something that could just do a little bit more. So I actually use something called DaVinci Resolve. Now, if you don't know what DaVinci Resolve is, it's a top of the range video editing system or software that is actually used in Hollywood. They have a free version and a premium version, but the free version gives you so much scope and so much functionality. The chances of you as a YouTuber needing that premium version, it's something that you're unlikely to need, at least in the beginning stages. And I personally am still using the free version for the Affiliate School YouTube channel. It allows you to do everything you need, the cuts, the transitions, the titles. It gives you so much functionality for free. You probably won't need to look anywhere else. So again, I'll link that down in the description below. So we're kind of back behind the scenes here. I'm not going to whisper this time because there's literally no need. And what I want to show you here is a little bit of the kind of process or how I personally plan my YouTube videos. So probably the biggest tip I can give you when it comes to creating the script for a video is, and that's if you want to create a script, you might decide that you don't need to create scripts, but for me, it works quite well. Or at least it makes me feel more comfortable when I'm recording, is that I'll start off with a title and then my idea for my thumbnail. Now, in an ideal world, you will create the thumbnail before you create the video. But at the very least, I would suggest you try and come up with the concept for the thumbnail. And we're going to talk about thumbnails in more detail in the next video. But the idea is that the thumbnail is essentially a part of your video, and it's giving an idea as to what the video is about. So the two need to connect. Now you can see that typically I'll start off with a bit of an intro, and sometimes I will completely script these out, and you can see that this was the intro to this video. And then there are other sections where I'll just go into bullet points and I will ad-lib a little bit more. So this section here where I'm going behind the scenes showing you the script writing process is probably going to be a little bit longer. I'm going to waffle on a little bit more because this is just off the cuff rather than being scripted. But I find a mix of two work quite well. And then you can get a little sneak peek into what's about to come up, and the next section is very much just lightly planned with each point that I want to talk about, and then I will kind of elaborate on those through the video. And then you can also see that I've got the next video planned here, which talks about thumbnails, and that's obviously coming up, but it gives me an idea as to where we're kind of going, so that helps me with the video creation process. So how can we make video that converts? Because essentially one of the aims of this mini-series is to generate more sales for your affiliate programs. So how can we do this? Now, I've had some success with the affiliate school in terms of affiliate programs over the last 18 months. It's not something I've massively focused on. I've more been trying to make a connection and build an audience through the channel. But there have been times where I have done this. Now, certainly with my niche site channel, I'm going a little bit heavier in terms of the promotion. So let's go into some of the ways in which you can do this yourself. So the first one that I would say is it's about engagement and retention. So for this, you want to include plenty of B-roll. So B-roll footage is footage, secondary footage that supplements the footage here. So this is footage that you're going to record separately to your main footage that we're recording right here, and you're going to overlay it over the conversation. Now, this is really good for retention, and that's really important for YouTube with getting them to spread your video further. If your retention sucks, then sadly YouTube is not going to push your video out. So get plenty of B-roll and use it within your videos. Now, for niche sites, this is pretty easy to do, particularly if you're reviewing a product or you're talking about a website or something like that. You can get a simple screen share or even just a screenshot and then put some animation on it in the edit. And with products, if you physically got the product, you know, you can get a close-up of the product being used in your hands. You can record it at the same time as you record the video if you've got a second camera, or if not, what I like to do usually is just record a load of B-roll footage separately and then edit it together later. Now, the second thing is to tell stories. Now, this isn't always possible, but if you can incorporate storytelling into your videos, then again, this is a great technique to boost retention. Now, of course, it needs to in some way link to the concept of the video, but particularly with these types of videos that I do, kind of how-to type stuff and tutorials, it is difficult to do, but sometimes you might see me put something wacky into a video, and the reason for that is just to break it up and make it a little bit more interesting, but ultimately to boost that retention. Now, the next one is one that's easy to do if you're going to be the face of the channel, and that is to be genuine and also not to go overly promotional. Remember that people buy from people. People don't tend to buy from businesses. Okay, it's slightly different in the online world, but if you can make that human connection with someone, then it's going to be much easier to make that sale. You don't need to ram an offer down someone's throat. We've all seen those types of videos. They're not fun to watch. You feel like you're being sold to. Instead, just make that human connection. Be honest, be genuine. Now, if you're not the face of the channel, or if you've got a faceless channel, this is harder to do, but it is still possible. And just adopt the same approach, that you're being informative and you're providing value rather than making it obvious that you're clearly just trying to sell something to make a quick buck. Now, the next one is to show the negatives of a product as well as the positives. No one is going to expect to watch or read a review that just has positive comments. There's always going to be something that is a slight negative. Don't be afraid to highlight those points, and if they're all completely negative, then highlight those points and then maybe offer a better recommendation as an alternative. The next one is to make your call to actions very clear. Now, like I said, you don't want to be constantly bombarding the viewer with a call to action, but when you do make them very obvious. So titles are really good for this because they don't interrupt the flow of the video, but they are very clear, and you can add a sound effect so that it pops up a little bit more. And then when you're verbally making the offer yourself, again, just make it very clear that it is the call to action, what action you want them to take, and where they need to take it. So that brings us on to where to add your affiliate links. Now, in YouTube, there really are two key places that you can do this. One is in the description, and the second is in the pinned comment. Now, the pinned comment is great because that's going to show up fairly prominently on mobile. And with your description, YouTube's recently tweaked how they display descriptions, and they'll actually display the very top section, and you can actually get your affiliate link to show in that top section if you place the link fairly prominently. So what I would suggest you do here is start off with a short sentence that describes the video, then go into your affiliate link so it shows in that top segment, and then go on and continue to describe the video. The next thing that I would suggest that you do is to do with your tracking. So with your affiliate programs, if they allow you to add sub IDs or click IDs, then make sure you include those in your affiliate links. And you want to make sure that you're tracking it as a YouTube click. So if you've got, probably you only need to use 2 sub IDs or click IDs. So the first one I would go with YouTube, so just YT or YouTube, and then the second click ID, the name of the video. So you know which videos are converting, and then you can look for patterns. Are there certain things that you did in that video that you didn't do in others? Is it just because it had more views? Or has that one got a majorly improved conversion rate compared to some of your other videos? If so, you can then go into that video, take a look, what was it about that video that really increased that conversion rate? And then the final tip that I would give you is to think about the search intent. Now, we're used to doing this for Google search and applying it to a blog post, but the same applies to video, and that all starts with the thumbnail that we're going to be talking about in the next video. Now, that video is going to appear here. If it doesn't appear here, then you're an eager beaver and it's not quite ready yet, and instead YouTube is going to suggest a video for you, so check that out instead. But if you want to be notified when that video is released and the rest of the videos in this mini series, then make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.